Good morning, guys. Happy September. So, for our Bible study for September, we're going to be coming from the book of Job. I'm going to be giving you guys the introduction and the outline, and we'll read maybe 1 to 2 chapters today, and then we'll pick up the rest in the next Bible study. And Lord, we ask a blessing, Father God, over this Bible study today, and that you touch and bless all of us in a special way, personally, corporately. In Jesus' name, amen. So, the intro. So the book of Job is named for its main character, a righteous man who was very rich. Now, some of you are familiar with the book of Job. Maybe some of you aren't. We're just going to, be focused, focused on this book throughout this month. So we know that Job is the main character. He was a righteous man, which means he was a godly man, and he was very rich. So even after losing everything he owned and suffering from a terrible sickness, Job still confessed his love for God. Hopefully you guys can hear me because the AC is on. It's pretty high, but I'm just going to keep recording. And if it's kind of loud, I apologize because I don't know exactly how loud. So the book questions the reasons for suffering, especially the suffering of people who love God and are good. So why do good people suffer and go through things if they love God and they're godly people, basically like that? So Job's friends insisted he was suffering as punishment for his sin. Job defended himself by insisting that he had done nothing seriously wrong, and then expressed his trust in God. Then God spoke and showed his mighty power. Job finally admitted that God is too great and wonderful for us to understand. So the outline, the contents, chapters 1 through 3 is going to be talking about the setting and background. Chapters 4 through 31 is Job's discussions with his 3 friends. Chapters 4 through 14 is how is God related to Job's suffering. Chapters 15 through 21 is do wicked people always suffer. Chapters 22 through 31 is Job guilty of secret sins. Chapters 32 through 37 is Elihu's speech. God speaks in chapters 38 through 41, and then the ending is 42. So in Job 1, what we're going to be reading about today is the prologue in Job's first test. So in the land of Uz there lived a man whose name was Job. This man was blameless and upright. He feared God and shunned evil. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters. So he had 10 kids, right? And he owned 7,000 sheep. So you can tell he's very rich. So he's a devout man. He have a lot of kids. So God has blessed him and made him fruitful and increase and multiply him. He have a lot of animals. Remember, animals represent wealth and business. So he's very wealthy, which it also told us that in the intro, right? So he owned, not that he owned these animals, which means if you have all these animals, you got to have a lot of workers too. So he owned 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 donkeys, and had a large number of servants. He was the greatest man among all the people of the East. And I haven't read Job in years, so I'm going to be excited to read this again with you guys. I haven't read it personally and fully in its full context, like how we do our Bible studies, in years. So I'm glad to be reading this again. So his sons used to take turns holding feasts in their homes. So not only is he wealthy, his kids are blessed as well because of his wealth, and maybe they have their own wealth. I don't know. I don't remember, but if they holding feasts in their homes, feast represents party and good eating and drinking and merriness and happiness and being joyful. So they have to have homes and feasts. That means that they have some abundance of blessings as well. And I'm pretty sure that it's connected because of who their dad is. So we see he's a good dad. Well, we can gather that he's a good dad if his sons used to take turns. And it also shows that they're a close family. You could think of this modern day time, like maybe this Sunday or this weekend or this day, this family member holds this dinner, and then next this family member hold this brunch, or this family member will hold this event. You think of something like that, so you could tell you guys are close. because no one's not going to be going to anyone's house and holding feasts and taking turns if you guys are not close. Well, for the most part. But this goes to show that this family has peace. They're unified, and they spend a lot of family time together. They spend a lot of quality time together. So his sons used to take turns holding feasts in their homes, and they would invite their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. So we can say that they was a tight-knit family, or they were a tight-knit family. So when the period of feasting had run its course, Job would send and have them purified. Early in the morning, he would sacrifice a burnt offering for each of them, thinking, perhaps my children have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. This was Job's regular custom. Now, a lot of people, like I said, I haven't read this book personally in years, but a lot of people feel a lot of different ways about the book of Job. Some people feel like, and when I say like people, I mean like theologians and people that have studied Job or have their notes on Job, they feel like this is kind of what opened up something, him sacrificing on behalf of his kids. You know, maybe he had a spirit of fear and all these different things people feel. I'm just going to go by what the words say. I'm not saying that they're right or wrong, but I'm just going to just be going by what the Bible says and what God reveals to us, you know. So we can tell that he interceded and he made sacrifices for them. So we can tell that he was a man of prayer as well, because it says that he's a righteous man. He was blameless, right? And he was the greatest man among all the people of the East. So this was Job's regular custom. Because some people say, well, what you fear is going to come upon you, and Job feared this, so that's why I'm just like, this is what I heard years ago, and I'm like, I don't know if that's right or wrong, but I try not to look too much into things if I don't have to. I just try to take the Bible for what it is. And if there is something that I don't understand or we don't understand and God reveal it, you know, another way, that's different. But for the most part, I just try to take it for what it actually says. So that's the prologue. So now we're going to get into Job's first test. So one day the angels, or the sons of God, came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them. So Satan is the accuser of the brethren. So while the angels are coming to present themselves before God, because you have to keep in mind, we all have to give an account before God. God watches us. He watches what's going on in the heavens. He watches what's going on under the heavens. He watches what's going on in the earth. So the angels are presenting themselves before the Lord. Not only are angels up there worshiping God, right? We talked about the heavens and what goes on there, a lot of the videos. But not only are they worshiping him, but they're giving daily reports on what we're doing, on what we're not doing, on what's going on in the earth. You know, there's different angels that have different ranks. So there are being reports every day, right? There's the book. We talked about the book when we did our Revelation series. There's the book of life. There's the book of life, the deeds, all of that. So things are being reported and recorded every second, right? And it has been doing that. So one day the angels came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them. Satan, we know, it's the devil, Lucifer, the accuser of the brethren. He's a fallen angel. We talked about that a lot in a lot of other videos. So the Lord said to Satan, where have you come from? Look, listen, Satan answered the Lord, from roaming through the earth and going back and forth in it. Because you have to remember, Satan is not omnipotent and omnipresent like God is. He can only be in one place at one time. That's why he's like sends his minions and his demons and things like that, and have them trying to do different things, which as Christians we have the victory over them. But God is omnipotent. He's omnipresent. He can be in multiple places at multiple times. So that go to show you who holds all power. Because Satan always tries to duplicate God, but that ain't happening. So he said, Satan answered the Lord, from roaming through the earth and going back and forth in it. Then the Lord said to Satan, have you considered my servant Job? So God offered up Job. It's not that Job did anything crazy. He said, God initiated that. He said, have you considered my servant Job? So let's keep that in mind as we're reading these 42 chapters this month. So there is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil. And that's a word of encouragement for someone. You may be dealing with some things or may have faced some things. I don't think that we have faced things exactly like as Job has. When I say exactly, I mean went through every single second of every grief that he suffered. But some of us know what it is to go through a Job season or a Job loss and lose family and lose business and money and be sick and go through all those different testing. But if God offered you up, that means God knows that you're going to have the victory. Now, you may not understand it all. I may not understand it all because I've been through some Job seasons, like I'm sure you guys on this Bible study have as well. But those Job seasons draw us closer to God, and it shows what's in us. You know, we have ups and downs, good days, bad days. But when you keep your hand in God's hand, it's like it's all going to be worth it. We may not understand it. We may not be like God, why would I do to go through this or why I'm going through this? But keep in mind that God had offered Job up. Is what I'm basically trying to say with that. So listen, does Job fear God for nothing? Satan replied, have you not put a hedge around him and his household and everything he has? Now, we did read some of Job over the years, but not the full Bible of it like we're doing now. So Satan replied this, have you not put a hedge around him? This is this accuser of the brethren. We read about him in Zechariah and other places, Isaiah, other places of the Bible. So he like Job don't really care about you, basically. He's basically like just throwing darts and throwing shade. And anything that the devil says is a lie. So he just basically accusing. When you think about courtroom, what does an accuser do? You see what I'm saying? So have you not put a hedge around him and his household and everything he has? You have blessed the work of his hands, so that his flocks and herds are spread throughout the land. But stretch out your hand and strike everything he has, and he will surely curse you to your face. See that spirit on Satan, on the enemy? And you got to remember, we sin and fall short every day. God is merciful to us and give us his grace and mercy. The enemy sinned once, and that was it for him. There was no redemption for him. You got to remember that the devil hates anything that God loves, and anything God hates, the devil loves. So let's keep that in mind in our Christian journey. Let's keep that in mind on the straight and narrow path, which we talked about that in prior videos. And let's keep that in mind while we're reading the book of Job. The Lord said to Satan, because how you know he gonna curse you to your face? As we continue reading Job, or if you've ever read Job, Job didn't curse God. Job kept his integrity. He may have cursed the day he was born and what he was going through, but he kept his faith in God. See that line, spirit? So the Lord said to Satan, very well then, everything he has is in your hands, but on the man himself do not lay a finger, which means you can touch everything around him, but don't touch his life. On the man himself, because life is within him. So then Satan went out from the presence of the Lord. See, he was ready. One day, when Job's sons and daughters were feasting, remember they used to do that, right? And drinking wine at the oldest brother's house, a messenger came to Job and said, the oxen were plowing and the donkeys were grazing nearby, and the Sabians, so I don't know if this is a people from another land or something, attacked and carried them off. So your business, your wealth, this is part of this that's carried off. They put the servants to the sword, killed off the workers, and I'm the only one who has escaped to tell you, ! Now keep in mind, back then they didn't have Instagram, they didn't have Facebook, they didn't have WhatsApp, they didn't have Messenger, they didn't have telephones like that. When you wanted to deliver a message, you had to, depending on the urgency of the message, like especially if it was from like a kingdom to a kingdom, they would send you on like an animal, and you have to go there fast. So we don't know if this servant had an animal, one animal that was left, or because it said they carried him off, or if he had to run, or how he got this message to Job. But it wasn't like how it is now, where you could pick up the phone and call or text or something like that. It was different. Remember the culture that we're in. Because he said, and I'm the only one who has escaped to tell you. So that's the first one. So let's keep going. So while he was still speaking, which means he's not even done telling him this report, or he not even done saying what he really maybe want to say, another person come with this bad news. Because remember, Satan went out the presence of the Lord. So he went out to go do his work, but God already know he got Job, because we're going back to verses 8 through 12, which we just read. Okay, so guys, let's do one chapter today, because we do have prayer line, and I know it's 7 something. I don't think it's 7:50 or 7:40 yet, but I don't want to go over. So we'll probably just do chapter 1 a day and pick up the rest. I was going to try to do 1 and 2, but we'll just do 1 a day, because I got to make sure I'm on the line. So while he was still speaking, another messenger came and said, listen to this, guys. The fire of God fell from the sky and burned up the sheep and the servants. So more sheep, more wealth, more servants. And and then keep in mind, these servants probably have families. He probably have a connection with these servants. You know, if he probably trained them right, because it said he's a righteous, just, blameless man. So not only is he losing his wealth, his business, his animals, you know, his servants, you know. So the fire of God fell from the sky and burned up the sheep and the servants, and I'm the only one who has escaped to tell you. ! Urgency. So while he was still speaking, another messenger came and said, the Chaldeans, I think that's the Babylonians, I think. But the Chaldeans formed 3 raiding parties and swept down on your camels and carried them off. They put the servants to the sword, and now I'm the only one who has escaped to tell you. So bad news after bad news after bad news. You're in the good season, you're in the good time, then boom, everything just shift. Bad news after bad news after bad news. This is what Job is experiencing. So listen to this. 18. While he was still speaking, yet another messenger came and said, your sons and daughters were feasting and drinking wine at the oldest brother's house. Keep in mind, he have 10 kids. And you know, for the regular time, right, we all know this, for a child to be, you know, formed in the womb is 9 months. So that was a while for all these 10 kids. And then they're older. It don't show like they're small. Because if you're able to feast and have a home and eat and drink, that means you got to have some age on you. So he didn't watch these kids grow up. He have a relationship with his kids. Sure, he love his kids. And now they is pretty much out of here. While he was still speaking, yet another messenger came and said, your sons and daughters were feasting and drinking wine at the oldest brother's house, when suddenly a mighty wind swept in from the desert and struck the 4 corners of the house. So they're finna die. So it collapsed on them and they are dead. And I'm the only one who has escaped to tell you. And the fact that it has this pattern, while you still speaking, this bad message come. While you still speaking, this happened. It's like, what worse can, you know, and his kids, your business, your wealth, your money, your animals, your servants, your family. What do you do when you know, you watching this video and tuning in with Bible study? What do you do when you face things like this? Do you turn to the phone? Do you turn to God? Do you turn away from God? Who do you turn to? What do you do? What have you done in these situations like this? There's a few things that I can say about what I've done, but we're going to keep reading. So at this, Job got up and tore his robe, and you can tell who's behind it. God didn't send it, but God gonna work it for us good, because look at the pattern. This is why no matter what, we got to keep our faith in God and know that God got us, and we're victorious and the enemy is defeated. It doesn't matter what it looks like, because it's all going to be for a greater purpose. So at this, Job got up and tore his robe and shaved his head. Then he fell to the ground and worshipped and said, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart, or will return there. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Some people say this is where it's coming from. The Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh away. Job said that. That's where it came from. May the name of the Lord be praised. So Satan was basically telling God, just going back, then we about to close. And the first test right here, he gonna curse you to your face. But he didn't do that. Hearing all this bad news, going through all this, look what he said. May the name of the Lord be praised. In all this, Job did not sin by charging God with wrongdoing. So tomorrow we're going to try to read a few more chapters. We're going to try to get into Job's second test and Job speaks. Job's 3 friends, which I put a little friends on them. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. But you guys have a great day. And I'm going to go ahead and get on the line. God bless.